March 11th, 2020, it's going to be a day that we'll never forget as sports fans. The NBA postponing its games that day. What it did was set off a chain reaction that brought sweeping cancellations and postponements to sports at all levels nationwide. And spring, that's usually when sports blossom. But instead, we entered this prolonged state of dormancy that forced us to put our attention elsewhere as we began dealing with the economic and medical fallout of this global pandemic. And then boom, shortly thereafter, the killings of Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, it set off a wave of nationwide protests that added this new wrench to a world already struggling to deal with itself. And so we went into 2020 with an idea of what the play was, but everything that could go wrong did go wrong. And in the face of record unemployment and civil injustices, we've all been forced to call audibles on the fly, which is why it's remarkable that we're here and we've made it to this moment. I'm sure I can speak on behalf of the majority of sports fans when I say that what we got this past week and what we have to look forward to is something we'll never take for granted ever again. Combat sports, they've been holding it down. Good things keep coming to fight fans. On Friday, Virgil Ortiz picked up another knockout win to solidify his status as a future star in boxing. And then Showtime, they unveiled a stacked calendar of boxing cards headlined with young talent. And then elsewhere in the UFC, another solid card on Saturday, and the UFC is continuing to seize that opportunity to build momentum. And then look, team sports are back. NBA bubble scrimmages are getting us closer to a highly anticipated return to meaningful games later this week. It's a great time for women's sports too. WNBA is back. National TV from its bubble in Florida. And then LA, we got ourselves a women's pro soccer team backed by notable celebrity owners. Elsewhere in soccer, the MLS is back. It's been holding it down in the States while European clubs battle to win coveted trophies and avoid relegation. Golf is back up and running. Hockey starts on August 1st. There was little optimism about MLB's return to play as little as a month ago. And while it came 119 days late, we should be thrilled that opening week showed up with a bang. Because July is supposed to be a dry sports month, so to see all of these sports coming back all at once, it should make us all be excited. But before we can get too excited, here we are today with the news of an outbreak on the Miami Marlins squad, and it's hard not to at least temper our optimism a little bit, because it was never going to be easy for MLB, which is why it's even harder to get all the way excited with the NFL when they established protocols to clear the way for training camp and an on-time start to the 2020 season. Things are still too fluid for us to know what tomorrow brings, which is exactly why we can't complain. The fanless crowds, the fake crowd noise, it's just going to have to do as we get back to the routine of things. I mean, I spent my 2020 sports hiatus catching up on shows and movies, and it felt good getting my money's worth from my Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus subscriptions. After all, America's this melting pot where our culture, because of that, is very much based on pop culture. But nowadays, we binge watch our endless supply of content on our own time, and nobody wants spoilers, so with everybody on their own pace, it loses out on an opportunity to be a part of the immediate national discussion in a way it used to be. So as streaming wars kind of intensify, the days of this monolithic pop culture where everyone's talking about the same thing kind of goes away as content gets spread out, we're priced out, and we have to kind of pick sides. And that's exactly why the return of sports is so important. And I'm not talking about classic games, I'm talking about live sports in real time with live reactions. We crave it, we live for it, but we aren't entitled to it. Sports give athletes their biggest platform to use their voice, and it gives us the opportunity to use our voices as well. The value of sports has always been to draw together the communities. We've always been at our strongest when communities come together. That's how positive change happens. So as we move forward, we just got to do so responsibly. And as fans, we have to appreciate anything we can get. Because as we've already seen this year, it can all be taken away in an instant.